Typically, the heart of the whole thing is obviously the 31 horsepower Vanguard engine, air-cooled, twin cylinder. This runs about 350 degrees Fahrenheit at the average operating temp. It's not like a water-cooled engine. And the air comes in through here, so you want to always keep that free from any kind of debris. That's your intake fan on the flywheel assembly. Has its own charging system, so it's at least 20 amp charging system. Nice part of this is we're not running the burner off it. A lot of the economy models of the 12 volt burners are kind of notorious for not lasting very long. This one you actually have your 2900 watt brushless generator. It's a real high-end one. I don't believe we've ever needed to replace that model yet. And well, industrial, there's some cheaper ones that have brushes, economy. You know, like you go to Home Depot and buy an inexpensive generator, which doesn't seem like it sounds like the engine costs more than the whole piece because everything's super economy. This is real industrial grade. Then we have the what do you call it? Belt-driven industrial grade pump on here. Longer casing, concentric port, real heavy duty. We get a lot more life out of that. We've had some pumps where even packings and seals in the pump may last 200, 250 hours. These things, I've seen them go 1,880 hours without having to rebuild them. May change a little bit with recycled water and how you manage everything. Typically you have a sight glass on the pump. That'll tell you if your pump is full right to the red dot. The other part about the air-cooled engine, you only got 2 quarts of oil. So when you do check your oil, if you're a little down, you know, that's your height right up here, you're down. You want to make sure you manage and maintain that. We recommend a 50-hour oil change. You know what kind of drive you had getting here? That was only 12. Well, how many hours did it take you to do 12?
Yep.
Can you imagine 4 times that much run, many trips there and back, change your oil. What's nice with the engine manufacturer, recommends up to 100 hours, so if you plan for 50 and it's Wednesday and you want to wait till the weekend, you still can run it and do it. You don't ever want to go over 100. Some clients will do, there is an oil filter on there, it's a pressure-fed, oil-fed system. So basically, some will do 50-hour oil only, and every 100 hours on the meter, oil and filter. Because the filter will last. And being the fact that it runs so hot, you know, and only 2 quarts of oil, it's just, when you bathe with these, I've seen them last like 4,500 hours, which is over 2,000 hours longer than some of the other brands out there. So it's really, you know, the way to go. Typically, this is all stainless steel frame. Try to keep acids and chlorines away from it, etc. You do have an hour meter there, pressure gauge, nozzle holder. One of the nozzles is already in the gun. Hour meter here, adjustable thermostat, on off for the burner, and a breaker. Now the other feature on here too is because you have a oversized generator, we have options to have additional plug holes. So this will go to your transfer pump that runs the hydrosphere filter section. And then the other, there's another one back there that actually, what do you call it? Here. Runs the vacuum recycling system on here. There's the breaker just like you have in your kitchen or bathroom, so you have to reset. That's something you want to check first. The other nice part is since you have multiple 110 volt, 115 volt units, the burner, the vacuum, and the transfer pump, if something wasn't working, just turn the burner on, pull the trigger on the gun, hey, my burner's working, but which is automatically wired directly to the generator, not through that plug, but my vacuum's not kicking on. Then it gives you an idea, maybe check the reset. Now if they're all 3 not working, maybe just broke a belt off the generator since there is a single belt driving the generator. There's 3 belts, heavy duty belts, driving your pump. So it is belt driven generator, so that's another thing that we would go step by step so I get my cell phone number. So I've been heavy equipment, diesel mechanic, high cycle military electronics, all kinds of different stuff over my career. I'm always the first sales guy, and then tech support comes to me, so I'm 7 days a week available, whatever it takes to keep you running. On the pump and engine, we actually have drain hoses that go to a valve, so you don't have a drain plugged in and have your oil dripping all over the deck. Okay. So both your pump, here's your drain oil, and have a little valve. Just make sure they're sealed. You check them when you're done. Refill it with a sight glass, put two quarts of engine oil in. You're good to go.
Which one's for the motor?
This one's for the pump here.
Yep.
See that little valve right there?
Yep.
Your motor one, I'm sorry. Right there.
Okay. And you just twist that to open it, right?
Yeah, you twist it to open it. It's kind of a slow drain.
Okay.
Give you some extra fittings. They told me up here on the deck. You get a spare hose, so we want to make sure you get all this stainless fittings for it. This is your suction line. Now this line is going to your pump, so it's either going to go to the supply tank, or water coming from the supply tank through the strainer filter into here, or with a three-way valve, you can go through the winterizing tank. And that winterizing tank.
So this is the supply tank. The water runs to here.
Exactly.
Inlet to the pump, right?
Inlet to the pump is right here.
Okay.
Now, on occasion, if you were to accidentally run it dry, I mean, if I had that, I went through a tank of antifreeze, because normally when we winterize it, we throw it back in the run position, so it's ready to go. We missed that because we had a few guys doing this stuff, and I started the engine. I'm waiting for the head to kick on, and it did, but then it kind of lost prime. In case you ever have that scenario any which way, you could be just on the road and you ran out of water. If you end up with a little bit of an airlock in the pump, this is your pressure gauge line, goes to the top of the pump. If you were just to have a couple adjustable wrenches and break this free, just a quarter turn, half turn,
let the air out.
And let the air out.
Okay.
It's the quickest, fastest. It's like, wow, I'm back up and running. If you try to prime and kick it up, it may not. So worst case scenario, most of the time, 85% of the time, it's just going to run and do it. A couple times it doesn't.
And do you do that while it's on or off?
You can do it when it's on.
Okay.
Yeah, you could just crack it a little bit when you start the engine, have the wrenches ready. When you see a little bit of water and spray, shut it down. You'll see the pressure gauge kick on, you know you're good to go.
Okay.
So that's just a convenient aspect. Obviously, in your gauge is right there. On your engine, you also have the fuel filter. Your air filter is under the cover here, which is pretty simple. Just had somebody that really wasn't catching on. So you got a nut here, pull the cover off, then you have your filter nut, and pull that off under there. I mean, that's pretty simple most of the time. What's nice about the machine here too, I'll kind of zoom in because it's really a neat feature, mechanic-wise, which I used to do. This is a piece of stainless steel, but it's created into a frame, and then the pump sits on top of that like a saddle on a horse. You got if you ever had to tighten the belts or you have a service center do it, if you show them how easy it is, most of the time they'll get you in and out, or if you do it yourself, is loosen the two nuts. And you got a tensioning bolt here that you can loosen or tension the pump up. It doesn't get cockeyed. I mean, I've had where you think you need 3 arms, in hand, just trying to line the pump up from twisting and bending and locking it all down. I mean, it's almost a 2-man job. With this, it's quick, it's fast, it's easy, it's very convenient. All your belt cover bolts have capture nuts under them, so you're not squeezing your arms up and under, and trying to get everything to work on. So it's extremely easy to maintain. Most of the time you can actually save 3 or 4 hours of service work if somebody had to repair it. I mean, this is really amazing. The mechanic engineer looked at it the right way instead of trying to pile crap on top of each other and hard to work on. One thing about the burner system, on top of that is the heater. When you get a 12-volt hot water unit, the motor that's on the blower fan is tiny little thing like this, you know. They're real susceptible not to last very long. Also, if you have corrosion on the battery or low voltage, it starts to take out components. With the one over here on the side, that's our motor. It's huge. So it's a 115 volt motor. What happens inside here, basically in order to get any kind of fire, you need spark, fuel, and air. So the motor drives kind of like a squirrel cage blower fan. You have the shaft in here that drives the fuel pump. And then everything's tied into the high voltage igniter on top. So we have spark, fuel, and air off of one base unit. What we've been able to do with these is get them so efficient on the burner, the insulation, the length of the coil. Most of our clients average only 1.5 gallons an hour of diesel fuel. It's insane. It's 600,000 BTU diesel fired burner. You know, heating up 9 gallons a minute of water, which is almost 2 5-gallon pails of water. Heated to, you'll see steam come out of this, the back of the hopper within a minute. It's about close to instant heat. Average decent units will burn 3.5 to 4 gallons of diesel an hour, and really econo units can do 5.5. So that's $10 up to $10 an hour savings, enough to buy your second trailer in the future with just the diesel fuel alone. So I want to show you these components. You do have a inline fuel filter and water separator here for the diesel burner. This is for the burner assembly itself. There's a cartridge in between. You just unscrew this, unscrew the cartridge, replace the cartridge. Keep an eye on this for cracks or leaks. Normally they're not too bad. So basically it's simple to service on that. Anything that you need to do here, I would recommend a service center.
Right.
Don't bypass pressure switches, high limit switches, flow switches.
Right.
Any of the safety devices.
So any like power washing service place?
Yeah. You can go to like
there's one
Land
right next to us.
Hydrotech, Hoppy Deal, or any legitimate facility on there. So you got that. This is your diesel tank, which is white. Your gas tank is black. That's new EPA carb emissions, crazy stuff that they want to add. I like red. It really makes it easier to know which is which.
Right.
We have 2 large carbon filters on the fuel system for the gas, so that's down over here. And I've never had to replace them yet. I'm not sure if they are needed to be replaced too frequently. That's something I could probably do some homework on. We had to go with 2 cartridges because one's good to up to 8 or 10 gallons a minute. Then after that, we used to be stuck with 8-gallon gas tanks, so we figured to spend the money. Oh, there you go. Got a hose in the tank. There. Yeah, we should face it out here, or both. But so basically, you have the large capacity. Traditionally, these will normally run about 2 days worth of run time. I've got other guys that have these systems with economy burner. They'll go through 2 of these tanks in 1 day. And not only that, having the 35 at 9 gallon a minute, having that higher speed and flow. This is anywhere from 1 to 4 times faster than anything out there that's Honda powered or smaller, like that. So you're doubling or quadrupling your speed, and you're using a fraction of the fuel. So at the end of the day, it's huge. I may probably die in a fire this thing up soon, huh? Here, then we'll back up over here. So typically the unit here, we have the vacuum recovery system. Probably want to pull it higher. Okay. So typically on this, the full vacuum recycling, we can pull the hose off here and put a 100-foot of hose on here and just use a vacuum surface cleaner attachment. Right now this is vacuuming up the wastewater from the trash bin hopper.
Okay.
And that way it's easier to free flow. We try different pumps. This is our best option, and it's multi-test. You can do other work with it. The hopper has the filtration system on there, which probably could start from back to forward for you. Kind of go through the flow pattern of it.
So did we get the extra inlet, the hose to do the vacuum?
I'll check your
Okay.
You get at least 50 foot, I can tell you right now.
Okay.
All right, so we have the, I don't know, okay.